I mean, at this point, you kind of got to expect almost anything. You think that it can't get any worse. We didn't already heard minors, but it's just the spooky details that come out, the scary details, the monstrous, disgusting type of details that we got to see in these court filings and these lawsuits and some of these new allegations that come out. Trigger warning. There's going to be some stuff that y'all hear in this particular one that's going to piss y'all off. Parents are going to be pissed off. Humans, period, are going to be pissed off. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Remember, people, this is allegedly, these are allegations. This is a new lawsuit filing. But as they go through some of the details, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Some people might get real pissed off hearing about this one. Let's get into it.
It says, quote, in 2005, plaintiff was a 10-year-old boy interested in becoming an actor and or rapper. Plaintiff lived in the Los Angeles area and used his proximity to the entertainment industry to secure several acting roles and a part in a music video. To help their son's burgeoning career, plaintiff's parents found and hired an industry consultant through an internet ad. The consultant recommended that the family visit New York City to meet with people in the music industry. During the trip, plaintiff's consultant arranged a meeting with defendant Combs for a, quote, audition. Combs indicated that he wanted to meet with plaintiff alone first prior to meeting the family.
I gave some disclaimers earlier in a prior stream where I said, look, I know there's a lot of people out here that hear some of these movements of some of these alleged victims and say, this was stupid as shit how you ended up in a particular situation. But then I tried to be a little bit more reserved, and I said, we're seeing all this stuff come out in 2024 with Diddy and all these crazy allegations. In 2025, considering all this news, all these headlines, the more awareness of this type of nasty shit that allegedly can be happening out there in the world. 2025, I don't want to see people falling for the okie doke as much. Please, let's start here. Parents, mothers, fathers. Your child is 10. You want to get your 10 into the industry. You want to get your 10-year-old boy into the industry, rapper into the industry. You hit the internet up. You find a consultant. The consultant gets in touch with Diddy. If you're trying to get your child into the industry, I assume you probably know who Diddy is. You might know who Beyonce is. You might have heard of Jay-Z. You might have even heard of people like 50 Cent. They're called titans. They're called moguls. They're called super gatekeepers. We're talking about heavyweights. You hit up the internet about some amateur aspiring to rap 10-year-olds, and this consultant on the internet directly gets you linked with Diddy? You trust this consultant? Or do I just owe you a lottery ticket within itself because I went on the internet, found you, and you linked me with Diddy? Is it that easy? Because if so, I'm in the wrong business. I'm in the wrong. I'll Google some shit right now. Hold on. Acting consultant with link to Diddy. Maybe I really shouldn't type that right now. Does it come up in the top searches on the first page on Google? Somebody that said, yeah, I got you. Direct pipeline to Diddy. Does that happen? What the fuck is going on? So you get linked with Diddy. Allegedly. Let's see what the next steps is.
The consultant, without plaintiff's parents, took plaintiff to the purported audition at a hotel in the same general vicinity as plaintiff's own hotel. The consultant.
You know the size of a 10-year-old? Like, you see these fucking statues in the background. Hold on. You see the bear bricks in my background? You see these look. I had a comment the other day. Somebody said that looked like 1090 Jake. Y'all are fucked up. That's like the size of some of these 10-year-olds. Pick them up one hand. Probably hold them like this. 10-year-old might be around. Some 10-year-olds in the world that size. The parents didn't want to be there for the meeting? People, Don't get me wrong. There's some extremely talented 10-year-olds in the world. I'm talking about born with it. Probably could rap, sing, dance, all that. 10 years old, belong in the stars, right? Now, if you 10 years old and you just got it, you was born with the gift and your parents then got you into Hollywood, right? Let's say they linked you up with Diddy. If I'm not at that meeting, if I'm not at that hotel, I'm gonna get to the hotel in a second. If I'm not at that meeting, this is probably like the 50th get together. I know the process. I know the people that's with my child. I know what's going on. There's some trust there. There's some relationship. There's some understanding of safety that's been interpreted already. The first fucking meeting. Now let's get to the second piece of this. A hotel. I don't give a fuck if it's Jay-Z, Diddy, 50 Cent, anybody. This is a fucking 10-year-old. And you want me to drop him for the first time after finding a link of a consultant to this big mogul on the internet at a hotel? Y'all could do that with y'all kids. You see these memes on the internet, they just be like, yo, some people is not built to be parents. If this is even true, right? But this, when I say trigger warning, maybe I meant for me. I'm triggered the fuck right now. A 10-year-old, you willing to drop your child, your legacy, your blood, your family, your heart and joy, your everything at a hotel alone with adults for auditions? All right.
Consultant brought plaintiff to Combs' room, but left him with Combs and told plaintiff that she would be back later.
Okay, let's go back. I mean, it only takes like a sentence for everything to be like ding, problem, ding, problem, ding, problem. I want the consultant. I want the consultant. If this allegation is true, we want the consultant as well. The consultant took the 10-year-old from the dickhead ass parents, brought them to the hotel with alleged disgusting ass Diddy, dropped them, and went about their business, said, I'll be back later. So if you just hooked this, if this was true, allegedly, you want to convince me that the consultant ain't in on it? Like the consultant that, hey, I got a fresh one for you. And I hate to say that, but that's the reality of this shit. Like, you need the consultant. What's the consultant's name? What's the consultant's company? They need to be in a suit as well. You was a dickhead for dropping your child, but okay, too late. The consultant that dropped your fucking 10-year-old child at a hotel with Diddy and said, I'll be back. I wish I would think that motherfucker wasn't in on it. Seems like a whole fucking process to me. No?
Plaintiff recalls other people in the room or area, but he did not know who any of the people were. So here's this claim that a consultant, I don't even know if the proper word is recruit, but facilitated this meeting between this boy
no, you had it when you said
and
recruit.
Sean Combs, seemingly convinced the parents that it was okay for him to go alone to meet one of the most famous men in the world at the time. And for anyone, of course, the allure of money and fame, that can be pretty mesmerizing, but especially, I would imagine, for a child. So keep that in mind, 10-year-old child here. The complaint says, quote, plaintiff performed several rap songs for Combs. Combs complimented plaintiff on his rapping and told plaintiff that he could make him a star. Combs asked plaintiff how badly he wanted to be a star and what plaintiff would do to get to be one. Plaintiff responded, as might any 10-year-old child, that he would do anything. So at this point, one of the other...
I ain't gonna lie. Now, at this point, it sounds a little bit too mature. This has to be one of these once in a lifetime generational talents and advanced kids now. 10 years old. One of these little joints in my background, 10 years old, is confident enough to be in a room, a hotel room, on their own for the first time, getting their first possible shot at being a rapper with Diddy. And we're even trying to act like this 10-year-old knows the gravity of Diddy, right? Because that's kind of the tone of this video right here. the 10-year-old knows the gravity of this is Diddy. This is it. Time to lose myself. This is my shot. And then you ask, like, would a grown adult ask a 10-year-old, what are you willing to do? And then the 10-year-old is going to answer back anything. Like, the conversation sounds a little bit too mature for a 10-year-old at this point. It's not like everything that's going to be in these filings, I'm just going to just read, hear, or interpret as letter for letter. I can't do that. There's going to be some embellishment. There's going to be some things that might be juiced up by the lawyer. There's going to be some things that I'm not going to believe. Even this right here, this conversation just feels a little bit too mature. And then, of course, the interpretation by even this platform that's delivering us, the interpretation of the filing and the lawsuit, even though he's reading this shit off the fucking paper. But I don't like that. I don't like the way that sounds. I get it though. If you're going after somebody, especially like a Diddy, you probably want that write-up to be as colorful as possible. I get it. But what type of 10-year-old are we dealing with here? I mean, if he's that advanced, I guess that's the parents' excuses why they fucking dropped him off, right? I ain't giving no excuses regardless, but I'm just saying.
Other people present allegedly gave this boy a soda, and after he drank it, he started to feel, quote, a little funny, but he chalked it up to being maybe just so excited about his opportunity to rap for Sean Combs. But the plaintiff now believes that soda was drugged with either GHB, known as the date rape drug, or ecstasy, or maybe even both. And that's interesting because, again, it's not Combs accused of giving a drug drink to an alleged victim. It's one of his employees or associates or friends, people who were involved in something that likely didn't appear to be above board and yet did it anyway. That person, although to be clear, is not named in the complaint. The complaint says, quote,
why not? 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 Not why. Not I'll reverse. Why not? Not why not? If you believe that an alleged employee, enabler, whoever alongside Diddy was the one that gave the 10-year-old the soda that had the alleged drugs in it, why is that person not put into this suit? Why would only okay, you're trying to say that Diddy's the one that did the essay on this child. Of course, top target. But the person that allegedly drugs the child isn't in the suit. Why not? Not why. Why not? Not why not? Not why. I'm trying to figure it out. Why not? Chat, am I tripping? Is it me?
Quote, after plaintiff consumed his soda and began feeling its effects, Combs told plaintiff to move closer to him, which plaintiff did. Combs then abruptly pushed plaintiff down and said words to the effect of, "You have to do some stuff you don't want to do sometimes." Now, the next part of the complaint is just incredibly graphic. I'm not going to repeat it here, but essentially John Doe claims that Combs sexually assaulted him and then he lost consciousness. 10 years old. Quote, when plaintiff awoke, he began crying immediately. Plaintiff's pants were undone, and then he says that his private areas hurt badly. Combs was still present. Plaintiff cried that he wanted to go to his mom and dad. Combs replied that if plaintiff told anyone about what had happened, he would hurt plaintiff's mom and dad badly.
Let's go back to the Diddy one. And remember, I had a lot of issues with the allegation of the guy getting taken advantage of in the back stockroom of Macy's, right? I had a problem with that one. That what I call cap on, right? There's okay, let me take a step back for a second, people. Collect my thoughts. Dave Chappelle once did an interview. Let me slow the hell down, man. I bring my levels down. Yeah, let me slow down. I don't need to rush. Dave Chappelle once did an interview, and it's a classic interview. And if some of y'all know what I'm talking about, he's serious and he's kind of seems like he's exposing the Illuminati, right? And if not the Illuminati, at least the type of BS that goes on in Hollywood. about people trying to always force men, especially black men, into compromising roles, compromising outfits and situations. Then you have like all those theories of like a lot of black actors were forced into wearing a dress and playing, the white chicks type of shit, or Martin or Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? Like playing around with this feminine shit, or that's a whole deeper topic. But in that interview, Dave Chappelle said the worst thing you could call somebody is crazy because it's dismissive, meaning that we have the norms of this world. We have what's common in society. We have the type of things that we typically see and we identify with. If you always see people eating eggs and bacon and toast and sausage or whatever at breakfast, and you grow up in American society and that's your norm, that's even the household that you grow up in. If one day you go sleep over your boy's house as a little kid, right? And you see that they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they're drinking soda instead of milk and orange juice, and they're eating steak or cheeseburgers 8 o'clock in the morning for breakfast. You might think that that's crazy. Hell, the first time I see my man, my boy from back in the day, have an egg sandwich with jelly on it, I thought he was crazy. And then I tried it and I was like, oh shit. Y'all with me? Y'all get my point? Point being is Dave Chappelle that's a very, very smart position to have. It keeps you open-minded about things. It's the understanding that you will have things that come along that are unique. You will have things that come along that are just out of the box thinking. You will have people that come along that are different, and it doesn't make them lesser or bad. You have to be prepared for that in life, because we're in these hamster wheels of seeing the same norms and commonalities so much that we get programmed. And then when something is outside of that, we call it crazy. Okay. Now, even in that thought realm, still, what will we define a human being as crazy? Somebody that doesn't have mental stability, not being able to differentiate right from wrong, not being able to control their emotions, flipping out, being considered a random danger to anybody at any random time. Those are probably realms where we still put a crazy person. What type of category do we put somebody that we feel is completely sociable and sane and corporate America ready? You want to know which one I put the corporate America completely sane and functional person? A Diddy. You do not become a billionaire unless you can function, move, think, act, and carry yourself like that. So the person that's over here, i.e., a Diddy, you run into him. Hey, Diddy, I'm your favorite friend. You know what he does? He turns to you, he shakes your hand, he says, "Thank you. How old are you? Let me sign an autograph." And you walk away from that experience thinking, "Wow, that's my idol. What a great person. I met him, my favorite rapper now," all that type of stuff. And these are billions of interactions that he's probably had over the last 30 years of being a celebrity and being a power figure in the industry. He's probably had, I said a billion, probably a million interactions like this where women, men, staff, people that he worked with, people that he socialized with, people that he danced with, people that he partied with, people that he did business with, people that he sat down at tables with and signed contracts with, people that he signed to his label. All these people around him that probably just felt like this is just a guy that made it. This is just a guy that was in the right spots at the right time. This is just the owner. This is the mogul. This is the money man. This is so I said all of this just because we're building and I wanted to stop rushing. I said all of that about what we see walking through society in Diddy for the last 30 years or whatever. To think that that person with that amount of consensual access to whoever he wants, men or women in the world, whatever he wants, he can have 20 Jennifer Lopez's at the snap of a finger. And if he wants guys, if that's his preference at time, everybody at this point thinks he's bisexual. Whatever handsome guy he wants, he could have 10 of those at a snap of a finger. You want to assume that that same person, that person that operates in all these different facets of life, success and industry and socializing, how does that person cross into the mentality that even allows him to allegedly are a 10-year-old? That's one thing I just keep struggling with. That's the one I struggled with at Macy's, with the Macy's filing. Just like, it's just tough to me feel like he's there conducting business and him and his security guard walked into the back room while this grown man was on his knees working. And while he was there, they threatened him, we're gonna beat you up, we're gonna kill you, whatever, give me head. And then the kid did it, or the guy did it. It's not an easy sell for me. It's not an easy sell for me. And I do believe that Diddy has done a lot of foul and nasty and bad shit. I don't know what he's going to get found guilty of. Don't even know if he might get found innocent. Who knows? Right? But allegedly, what would take that type of person in society and flip the switch to the quote unquote crazy side and make them do that to a 10-year-old? And then possibly go back to your $50 million mansion and then call Jennifer Lopez over. That bugs me out. That's the shit where you just be like, if true, calling you a threat to society or a danger to society, they need a different tag of that. That just doesn't do enough just cause, that label. That's the person. Like, you talk about a wolf in sheep clothing, you talking about a monster in human flesh, you talking about the devil in disguise. That would be that to me. I want to assume that I'm similar, people. Reem, I see you in the chat. What's up, my brother? I want to assume that I'm like that. I think that people have watched me for 11 or 10 years and just think like he's just a regular guy, normal guy. Imagine you heard some next level high. I hope that you just don't even see that in me for the last 10 years. So if you heard that I turned out to be a Jeffrey Dahmer, you would be like, what? When did ARP become a Jeffrey Dahmer? I seen him doing battle rap events. I met him in person. He was cool. He started podcasting when he retired from RBE. When the fuck did he start stashing bodies in his basement? And I'm not supposed to be a laughing matter. But this is what freaks me out. That's one thing that will continue to freak me out about Diddy. Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all understand what I mean with this whole little mini rant that I just went on. Drop a 1 in the chat if you understand where I'm coming from with that. It's just show me that it's not just me. You tried it. 215 said, "Hey, Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't like you for that." MSM, Tay. All right, it's moving real fast now. Thank you. Jesus Christ. I'm just making sure that I'm not crazy. Just making sure. Okay. Try to get back into this video.
Upon plaintiff's return, his parents immediately noticed that he was lethargic and acting differently. Although plaintiff ultimately told his parents what happened, plaintiff and his parents were terrified of the potential consequences of reporting the abuse. I want to focus on that.
No, I don't give a fuck about you focusing. I need to focus on that. Chill out. Did they just try to tell me that this 10-year-old went home, they realized that he was lethargic and acting different, probably drugs in his system still, allegedly, maybe at some point realized that he was injured from the R-ing, and they didn't follow up because they potentially feared the power of...
Point real quick, because assuming these allegations are true, some might say, how could you not report this to the police? Your child gets attacked. I don't care who the person is. You go to the police. The other way of...
Hang it up. I saw my man Reem in the chat, right? You want to know how Me and my man Reem is coming if my child or his child comes home and we feel that somebody done awed them. I'm gonna show you how we come. This how we coming. If me and my man Reem, that's in the chat right now, feel like you did something like that to one of our children or one of our family or one of our beloved, this is how we coming. That's how we coming. You think that our past is behind us? I'm gonna tell Reem, I'm gonna be like, yo, just one more time. We, we one more murder. yo, yo, yo. You trying to convince me that the parents said, yo, we fear Diddy's power or money. Just gotta let that rock on my 10-year-old. We just gonna shut up about that. You go ahead and walk that off. If this was true, you want Diddy under the jail and worse. If this was true, I also want the consultant. If this was true, I also want the person that gave the child the drink. But this right here, you know who I want also? I want the parents. Maybe it's just me. I want the parents. Because not just did you not reacting to this 10-year-old of what allegedly happened to the 10-year-old, but you not reacting and getting Diddy what he deserves at that point, which honestly is death. But let's say justice, right? What about the people that came after that? You not reacting to that, and then he can. What about anybody else allegedly that it happens to? I want the parents too. I want everybody behind that. Of all the allegations so far, all the lawsuits that have been filed so far, I dislike this one the most.
Of looking at it is, and this is a big theme that makes its way into these lawsuits and even the criminal case, is that Combs' power, his influence, his money, that scared people from.
I'm trying to tell y'all. This is my man Reem right here on the screen. I'm trying to tell y'all. We suited up. I promise you, you touch his like that or you touch mine's like that. I promise you, you will meet us in person. You will meet us in person. You better pray that they get you before we do. Like I can laugh about it, but I'll be laughing while I'm standing on you, standing over you, dumping the whole shit. Like it's red. It's a red zone. I've said that before in streams. I feel like I really am a believer in this. I feel like there's things in life that can put people in a red tunnel. The red tunnel is where you be hearing like these mothers will lift up a fucking car because their baby's trapped or some shit, or the you don't care that the cops is dead. You don't care who's around. You don't care if you're sitting in court and the cuffed alleged shooter comes out and the father sees the shooter. He's jumping over that wall. He's not thinking like, oh shit, I'm about to get put in jail behind this because this is like obstruction of court and shit like that. He's in a red tunnel. There's nothing else that you see or hear other than blood. And that's the shit, that rage moment, that's the shit that takes 20 men to hold you and stop you back and stop you. Nobody can talk you down. Nobody can tell you nothing. No, you don't hear nothing. You don't see nothing but your target. If your 10-year-old walks through the door and that happened to them and you're not in that red tunnel, you might even be emotionless. You might be damn near walking just like a mummy, just dead. I consider myself an emotional person. That's why I would like to avoid that type of shit because I know I can be put in that red tunnel under certain circumstances and nothing will matter. Nothing will matter. Nothing.
From coming forward. It was what led them to engage in these activities, the fear for their lives, their fear of reprisals. And look, that will ultimately be up to a judge or a jury to decide regarding the credibility of this John Doe if this should make its way to trial. But I just have to call that point out. Now, according to the complaint, John Doe has had serious behavioral and emotional issues since this alleged 2005 incident. He reportedly suffers from depression, panics easily, battles night terrors, and he's bringing his claim.
Yeah, because you probably have trust issues too, because your parents ain't even fucking ride for you, let alone the situation allegedly that happened to you. But imagine even after that. Imagine after physically you're not in pain anymore. Imagine trying to have a different thought process, like, listen, maybe you're growing up thinking like maybe that is what happens in the industry if I need to be a rapper. Maybe you even start to justify it in your mind over the years. But then also think there's that side of it that whatever happened to me, whether I question it, whether I'm still dying inside from it, my parents put me there. My parents gave me there. And then when I came home in the state that I came home in, my parents didn't move up. They went back to business as normal as usual. So if they could react like that, anybody has control over my well-being. I'm not in control like my parents. How do you trust that's a boy? How does he trust a woman? Or if he even if he's interested in men later on in life, how does he trust anybody in relation? How does he how your parents? If that happens to you, man, I can understand how those kids walk around fucked up for the rest of their life. Done. How do you succeed? How do you get a job? How do you socialize? How do you accept? How do you believe in people? How do you trust? How do you shake hands confidently with somebody? What?
Claim against Combs as part of the New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act. We've told you about this before. It's a law referenced by Combs' accusers, more specifically, the Tony Busby clients. And what this law does is it allows an alleged victim of gender motivated violence, where it doesn't just have to be sexual assault, by the way, it can be any kind of violence, a look back window to file a lawsuit, even if their claims would otherwise be too old. Remember, this is in 2005. So now they have until February 2025 to file lawsuits. That's one of the reasons why you're seeing so many happen right now. According to the complaint, the requirement that the crime of violence be committed because of gender or on the basis of gender and due at least in part to an animus based on the victim's gender is satisfied because defendant Combs forced plaintiff to engage in a sexual interaction without consent. Plaintiff John Doe could not effectively consent because of his age. The non-consensual sexual touching of a minor herein presented a serious risk of physical injury and, in fact, caused such injury. Gender animus adheres when consent is absent. The lawsuit reiterates that businesses connected to Combs could be at fault as well. It alleges the Combs businesses had knowledge and or should have had knowledge of Combs' widespread and well-known practice of committing sexual assault and gender-motivated violence, including on premises owned and or operated by defendants, and did nothing to stop it. And the plaintiff here is demanding a jury trial. Okay, so putting that horrifying lawsuit to the side, we have another one that we want to tell you about.
Oh, no, I had enough tonight. You try to give me nah, that's enough for tonight. I don't even know the last time y'all see me on stream at 10:30 at night. But I saw this and I just said, oh, we gotta cover this tonight. Because the way it reads, it and the tie-in to the parents as well as the enabler and the consultant and yeah, we pointed out some gray area. We pointed out some areas that we didn't like, where it's just like, is this a fishy suit? There's 15% of that in there. We always gonna call it as we see it, people. There's 15% of that in there. But the rest of it, I'm just reacting to like, if that's true, like that's bugged out, y'all. And this it's a death penalty request at that point. And I try to be careful with my words up here. Y'all see at times where I try to not put even a snitch label on people. I try not to disrespect people. I try not to wish jail on people. I'm also very, very careful wishing death. That's something that I almost never do because I believe life is very, very precious. I don't believe in that. And there's a little piece of karma that can be created by wishing death on people. Right. That's just how I've always been. I'm very careful with it. I think God will forgive me. There are those rare occasions where I think it's justified across the board in everybody's eyes, including me. Imagine a guilty verdict or found to be true or factual about this 10-year-old. Nobody's going to sit here and say, oh, well, since you did that to that 10-year-old, Diddy, go ahead and pay up. Civil suit. Go ahead and cut a check. That's what y'all want to see the outcome of? You want to see him be able to cut a check behind that if he lost a civil lawsuit? Is that what y'all believe should happen? Huh? Is it? Maybe we don't got to sit here and totally detail everything that we believe should happen behind anybody conducting themselves like that, especially on a damn 10-year-old.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.